So we're going to be looking at day 2 from Unit 10, Coordinate Geometry, and we're going to be talking about writing equations of lines today. Again, some of this will be review, but there will be some new stuff that puts old concepts together in a different way. So the first couple things you need to know is slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Point-slope form, which might be a bit of review here, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, where x1, y1 is any point on the line. And then another one that I've added in here is the slope formula, just so that you know it. And actually, that's where you get point-slope form from, is this formula here. Manipulated will give you this. So the first example here, write an equation for a line that has a slope of 1/3 and a y-intercept of 5. Well, that means that our m is going to be 1/3. Our b is going to be 5. So the equation will be y equals, since we have slope and y-intercept, 1/3 x plus 5. The next question here says, write an equation for a line that has a slope of -2 and passes through the point 3, -7. Well, this gives us the slope, and it gives us another point on there. So we can't use slope-intercept form because we don't have the intercept. Instead, we have to use the new thing here, point-slope form. So y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So we're going to do y minus, our y1 is going to be -7, equals m, which is -2, and then x minus x1. So x minus 3 will be our x1. And from here, we just need to get it down, simplified into a form that looks like y equals mx plus b. So this will be y plus 7 equals, if we distribute, -2x plus 6. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, and I will end up with y equals -2x minus 1 as my final equation for that. What I would like you to do next is look at questions 3, 4, 5, and 6. Try and write equations for these. Now, this does bring some other things back into play, like perpendicular lines. So you need to know what the slope is with those. And you will need to find the slope of certain things, which is why I wrote down that slope formula before. So take a second and try these, and then I will bring up the answers. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and press play again. Okay, so here are the answers for those equations. This one on the bottom here says plus 4, the part that goes behind the screen here, 2/3 x plus 4 on the bottom. And then what I'd like you to do is try 7 and 8, see if you can figure them out, and press play when you're ready. So question 7 is choice 4, and question 8 is choice 1. So now on to the new thing, writing the equation of a perpendicular bisector. So this, you know all the stuff you need to for this, it's just putting it together in a different way. So a little bit of review. What is the midpoint of a line segment whose endpoints are 5, 1 and -3, 7? So the formula to find a midpoint is x2 plus x1 over 2 for the x coordinate, and y2 plus y1 over 2 for the y coordinate. So when you plug into this, you're going to have 7 plus 5 over 2. And then you're going to, oops, did that backwards. You're going to have -3 plus 5 over 2. And then you're going to have 7 plus 1 over 2. This is going to give you 2 over 2, which is 1, and 8 over 2, which is 4. So the midpoint of that segment would be the point 1, 4. Now, how this plays into finding the equation of a line that is the perpendicular bisector of a segment is you're going to have to find a slope and a point so that you can write the equation. Well, we can find the slope using the endpoints and plugging it into the slope formula here. Then what we're going to need to do to find the point that it goes through is find the midpoint, because a perpendicular bisector goes through the midpoint. So if we want to write the equation of the perpendicular bisector of the point, the line going from A to B here, we're going to need to find the slope. So we're going to do m equals y2 minus y1, so 8 minus 2 over negative 4 minus 8. That's going to be 6 over negative 12, which is negative 1/2. Now, we want a perpendicular line to that. So the perpendicular slope is going to be the negative reciprocal, which is going to be positive 2. So we now have our slope here. Then we need to find the midpoint, which is going to be our formula up above. So we're going to plug in x2, which is negative 4, plus 8 over 2. And then we're going to do our y's, which is 8 plus 2 over 2. Well, negative 4 plus 8 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. 8 plus 2 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. So we're going to be going through the point 2, 5. Now we go back to that new equation we had, y minus y1 equals m x minus x1, and we plug in our numbers. So y minus 5 equals, our slope is 2, x minus 2. And then simplify it down. So y minus 5 equals 2x minus 4. If I add 5, I will end up with y equals 2x plus 1 as my final answer. So there's 3 parts of that. The first part is going to be finding the slope. The second part is finding a point, which is the midpoint. And the third part is finding the equation. So you need to break each of those up into 3 parts. Slope, point, equation. So what I'd like you to do is take a second and try 10 and 11, pause the video, and whenever you're ready, you can click and the answers will show up here. All right, so for numbers 10 and 11, we're going to have a slope, which is undefined, because when you find the slope through A and B, it's actually 0, and the perpendicular to that will be undefined, so you can't have a slope in there. Our midpoint is going to be the point 1, 0, so our equation will actually be x equals 1. And if you use the accompanying graph to graph this, you'll see that the segment you're looking at is horizontal, and your perpendicular to that has to be a vertical line. So x equals 1 is our equation. The next one will give us a slope of negative 4 over 7 when you do the perpendicular. The midpoint is going to be 2, 2.5. And then when you actually find the equation, when you plug in, you'll end up with either negative 4 sevenths x plus 51 over 14 if you use fractions, or if you change it into decimals, it'll be about 0.57x plus 3.64 as your equation. So hopefully you did okay with those. If you have questions, make sure you ask. Otherwise, your homework for tonight is going to be the day 2 worksheet, and I will see you later. Have a great day.